Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today I thought I'd do something a little different and show you what I created over the weekend when I was lucky enough to attend the Dina Wakley classes that were held in Artified in Melbourne. So this is a print of Dina's which I bought to hang up in my studio to remind me to make a mess. And I absolutely love the colours of it, and it just sort of sums up what the whole weekend was about. Being courageous, making a mess, having fun, finding your arty tribe, and trying lots of different stuff that you'd never done before. So I was working in my large Dina Wakley journal. I kept it for this series of classes. I hadn't done much in it before, and I got Dina to sign at the beginning, which is quite nice. This is one of the masks that I used in one of the classes that we did, that we taught to. So without further ado, the first class I did was one called Ordered Chaos, which was really interesting. It was a full day course, and it was talking about doing abstracts, getting lots of colour down the page, lines down the page. Now I'll insert some pictures of what some of the before pieces looked at. These are the finished pieces, or mostly finished pieces. These two faces came from a larger piece that I did, which was about A3 size, that we tore down into smaller parts and then created over the top of and did some pictures. Now, faces are still something that I'm working on, but I quite liked, even though she looks really angry in this one, where the watercolour or the acrylics have landed, sort of drew the features already for the face. A lot of these pieces are ones that I may really love, or they're works in progress, but every single one of them you learnt something from. This little one hiding here, it was actually done by my daughter, who's 2.5 years old. My mother was very kind and came over to babysit my children for me so I could go to the classes. So in return I got one of the classes for Mum to go to, which was the abstract flowers, and we came to pick Mum up, and the class had 15 minutes to go, and Aoife wanted to paint with Granny, so she made her own abstract flowers, so I had to have that in my journal. This piece was using the mask cut out at the front. Oops. Go back here. So this one, again putting it over the piece that I'd already created and using the reductive technique, so getting rid of the backgrounds. And it was a piece that I really didn't like, and then I did this to it and I love it. So it's amazing what you can do with things. This piece is severely a work in progress, and one that I am highly tempted to paint over again. What happened with it is you have to work fairly quickly in class situations anyway, and you don't dry your layers in between. Now, I like working wet on wet, and in my video channel you can see a few of my videos are working wet on wet, but I found with the colour palette I chose, I was just making mud, and no matter what I did to it, it was still very chaotic. And while the class is called Ordered Chaos, I don't think I've quite ordered this yet, so it's something I still need to continue to work on. By putting that line through the middle has helped somewhat, but it's still a bit tricky. And I also am struggling with the fact that it's on two different substrates, with the canvas and the cotton paper. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, but it's certainly a learning experience, so I think I might just leave it as is and chalk it up to, don't do this in the future. These are two pieces I've created in the hotel room with the materials I had, based on the Courtney Diaz video, making watercolour monsters, Little Raven Ink, so check her channel out, they're very cute. This is the next class I did, which was called Tell Your Story, which I have a huge connection to. Art journaling for me isn't therapy, so to speak, but it's a way that calms me by getting all my words out on a page or all my thoughts out in visual form. I feel so much more relaxed and able to cope with what's coming at me. So I find I do a lot of writing on my pages anyway. Lots of times I cover it up with lots of layers. And that's what this page is about. We had to do a brain dump on the tags. Then we tore the tags up and rearranged them. So even if I wanted to put them back together to try and read what I'd written, I wouldn't actually know what direction they went in. And we just, with the washi tape, bound it into a little book. We had some tags again, doing that reductive to put some stuff in. I wrote some quotes in there. And that's the writing we had on the page, and it just wasn't enough for me. So I had to go back in after we were finished and add some more journaling to the page with the white pen and the black pen. It was very cathartic to do, and it was lovely because I think a lot of the journaling was about meeting wonderful people that were in the class that I hadn't met before and who just took me under their wing, and also sort of journaling about how special it was to be there with my mum and do this art course with her and share the experiences with her and go back to the hotel room afterwards and show her some of the stuff that we'd been doing and, you know, just play and chat about everything. So it was great to be able to jot that down as a memory of the class, as well as creating a page that I'm really, really pleased with. This is another page which was done on transparent layers. Now, I actually did this yesterday and adapted it a little bit, but this page, and this is the original we did in class, and the reason it's loose is I'm going to frame it because it had such a cathartic effect, or such an emotional effect on me when I was creating it. It basically, for me, sums up how I feel inside. All that jumble of words that I can't get out, that are just always there. I've always got a running commentary in my mind, and just always there, and just having that way to quieten it out. So yeah, I love this technique, and I love the effect, and I love the final piece. So this has to be my favourite piece of the entire weekend. So it's using Dina's collage words. It's using the scribble sticks, which again I've had, and not that I had trouble with them, but they were never my go-to material to work with, but I've actually really enjoyed doing them. This is another exercise from the Ordered Chaos class that we did, and Dina gave us 4 words that we had 5 minutes to create a mic or something on a page to create that word. So the 4 words were alone, wild, dance, and family. So these are my pages. This is alone, family, dance, and wild. This is another mic making exercise from the Ordered Chaos class. This is kind of gives you an idea of what the backgrounds looked like before we started adding. So I haven't really added much to that apart from the circle over the top and the lines with the white pen and the black Stabilo oil pencil. This is part of the larger piece that these faces came from. So that was at the top of the page, and this was at the bottom of the page. So you can see where sort of the backgrounds came from. These are 2 more pieces from the Ordered Chaos. So we were really busy in that class. In the morning we made lots and lots of backgrounds, and in the afternoon we sort of went back through and refined them with lots of different techniques that Dina shared with us. So again, not necessarily my favourites, but lots of things that I can take and apply to different pieces of artwork. This is a final class that I did, which was called Transparent Layers. So again, working on different substrates, but I actually quite liked working on it in this format. So creating some windows within your page to create that sort of interactive effect and create some frames so you can see from before and backwards. Again, you can see I've got a lot of writing on my page. It's something I tend to put into my artwork. Even if it's just printed text, I need to see something to break up the background. I don't mind if it's not necessarily readable. I find if I can make it more unreadable, that's good, because I've had experiences in the past when people see text, they sort of pick it up and try and decipher what you're trying to write. So yeah, it's a fun way to do it and try and be as loose as possible. Okay. So this is also collaging, I suppose, in a different way for me. I don't tend to use repeated images very much. I don't tend to collage with stamped images. I tend to use my stamped images as background layers. So using the repeated images throughout the page, I actually quite like the idea, and I like the use of collaging in a cluster. It's something that you could certainly apply to other pages pretty easily, and I think also to card making or scrapbook making it would work quite well. But I do love the effect of the windows and creating those portals through to other pages so that you can see them. And it's something you could do with putting transparencies in, excuse me, or printing some of your pages onto tracing paper, some of your journal pages onto tracing paper, and add those back into your book, but with that transparent layer. So I'm quite into adding my journal pages back in different sections, or using them in a different way. So I think this is the final piece that we did, and again this is from that first class we did with the ordered chaos, and this is actually one of my favorite backgrounds that I made, and I left it to last to color because I didn't want to lose what I'd done originally, but I'm actually really glad that I was brave enough to put the colour over the top, because I actually really liked how it came out. But originally there was sort of colour across the bottom and up the top, so that sort of cross effect, and the blob of colour here almost ended up looking like a bird sitting on a branch. But I quite like how you've got that subtle layer from the background coming through, and you've got that strong image again of that person. Excuse me. So this is just a really quick flick through of what we did in the class. If you ever get an opportunity to do a class with Dina, oh, I like that. So that's again with the portals, you can do all sorts of different things. That's really cool actually. I might have to take that in there. Please do. She's awesome teacher, very down to earth, gives you lots and lots of her time and expertise on how to do things. Some of the stuff may be out of your comfort zone, but that's okay, because that's what you go to classes for. And you may not like everything that you do, but again, that's okay, because from what you do, you learn, you grow, you adapt. So again, you can see from this page, I've adapted it into something slightly different. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you on my channel next time with another process video. Thanks for watching.